I recently reported on Volkswagen power brokers trying to force out Herbert Diess. Now it seems as though his time at Volkswagen may soon be up. So the question is, where will he go next? Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. I'm coming to you here from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome to all the new subscribers who have come on board lately. Very good to have you here on the channel. Make sure you check out the 650 videos we have created over the last 6 months alone. Now, as many followers of the channel know, I am a big fan of Herbert Diess. In fact, I believe he is the best CEO in the automotive world right now, and for sure, hands down, the best legacy automotive CEO on the planet right now. Now, obviously, recently, Herbert Diess invited Elon Musk to a meeting with Volkswagen's board, their managers, a big meeting that they had, and he got Elon to talk to all the staff about what Tesla was doing to make it successful. He also recognized at that meeting that it takes Volkswagen 30 hours to build an electric car and Tesla in their new factory in Germany only 10 hours. In addition to that, I've also reported on other issues going on, like the fact that Tesla clearly pays significantly less for its batteries than Volkswagen does. There's a few different other advantages that Tesla clearly have, gigacastings that enable them to, that help them to get closer towards their 30% global, achieving 30% margins on their vehicles. Whereas the average margins in the industry are 8 to 10%. So that's what the kind of thing that Volkswagen has to compete with. Herbert Diess is, he's well aware of what's going on. And when he was asked who the main competitors are for Volkswagen just last month, he said Tesla and China. Now, clearly, Diess and Elon Musk get along very well. They've met with each other on a number of occasions, toured each other's factories, and they clearly have a good relationship. Now, I believe it's very likely that Elon Musk has offered Herbert Diess a job. Obviously, right now, Starlink has a CEO. Elon is not the CEO. It's run by Gwynne Shotwell. And in addition to that, it seems to me very likely that Tesla will make a similar move by hiring Herbert Diess once he leaves Volkswagen, which now appears probably inevitable. So why are Volkswagen making such a bad decision to potentially kick out Herbert Diess? Joey Klender reports for Teslarati that Volkswagen Auto Group CEO Herbert Diess and a supervisory board were unable to meet terms that would solidify Diess's future at the automaker, reports from Germany indicate. This comes right after the board and power brokers within Volkswagen met with Diess to discuss his job, because a number of people within the organization, including the union, want to get rid of him. Now, Diess has been on the hot seat at Volkswagen for several months following his vocalization of plans to cut 30,000 or more jobs from the German company's employment population. Now, he doesn't actually plan to cut those jobs unless he has to. What he's saying to Volkswagen is we need to innovate. If we cannot innovate and increase our sales, then we will start to decline and we will have to cut jobs. So what he's saying is, I don't want to cut jobs, but that is inevitable unless we can survive the coming disruption of electric cars. Now, Diess warned Volkswagen during an internal meeting that failure to accelerate the company's transition to electric vehicles could cost some jobs, especially as the automaker continues to lag behind industry leader Tesla. That said, Volkswagen are doing quite well. They're obviously one of the three biggest players in electric cars right now in the world: Tesla, Volkswagen, and BYD. But, of course, the majority of Volkswagen's production right now is not electric. The majority of their cars are still ICE vehicles. So transferring all those vehicles, doing what BYD has done over the last 12 months and turning your company into an electric car company is very difficult. And that's what Herbert Diess is trying his best to make happen at Volkswagen. Now, Diess and the supervisory board of Volkswagen, which is comprised of prominent members of Volkswagen and other brands under the Volkswagen umbrella, as well as representatives from large shareholder groups, were unable to come to terms that would extend Diess's term as Volkswagen AG CEO. After intensive discussions, the leading supervisory board members from the Porsche and Piech families, the state of Lower Saxony, and the employee representatives were unable to agree on a compromise on the future of the 63-year-old. Now, personally, I own shares in Tesla, as I've mentioned many times. They make up a pretty significant portion of my portfolio. So this is actually, well, on the one hand, it's bittersweet because I want Volkswagen to succeed because they're helping, well, they will and can help the world to transition to sustainable energy, to electric cars much quicker if they're on board. But then again, there's this another side of me that just wants to kind of capitalize on this situation. The reality is, if this is true, and it appears it is, then Diess leaving Volkswagen and going to Tesla will only increase the value of my current shares. So one part of me thinks bad, the other part of me thinks good. Now, Volkswagen is arguably the world's most committed and established automaker to the electric vehicle movement, well, legacy automaker anyway. Volkswagen is one of the only well-known global mass-market automotive brands to embrace the EV transition with any significant real emphasis. And this may have something to do with the tension between Diess and the board. Diess has primarily been the main reason for the accelerated transition, which has solidified Volkswagen as one of the more popular EV brands that have come from ICE production, which is quite an incredible transformation if you think about it. I mean, not only a few years ago, Volkswagen was considered the brand of terrible rapport. They went through this whole scenario with Dieselgate. It was published everywhere. They've paid billions of dollars in fines, all the bad publicity for the company, tricking its customers into having vehicles that don't do what they say they do, into pretending that their vehicles were clean diesel. They weren't. The thing is, of course, it turned out that other companies were doing the same thing. Mercedes was just caught for having 11 different cheat devices on their current cars right now. I'll put a link in the description below to the Mercedes scandal that no one's even talking about because everyone's just sick of this diesel scandal. So the fact that Diess has been able to take this company, which is just shamed completely, and turn it into a car company that is looked upon now as being a positive, as looked upon now as being a car company in the future, in such a short space of time is remarkable. Now, Diess has been the primary reason for the accelerated transition, which has solidified Volkswagen as one of the more popular EV brands that came from ICE production, so one of the more popular legacy auto brands. Diess is set on keeping up with Tesla, or trying to actually get to where they are by any means necessary, and losing time and falling further behind Elon Musk's company is something Diess has warned Volkswagen executives about on a number of occasions. Now, speaking of time, it is precious, Diess said in the supervisory board meeting, according to sources. Stephen Whale, a member of the supervisory board and leader of the Social Democrat Party in Lower Saxony, gave Diess words of approval during his presentation. However, he is not totally on board with Diess's strategy, calling it styleless. Head of the Works Council, Daniela Cavallo, supported Wheels' analysis of Diess's job performance, also saying that it was styleless or tactless or something along those lines. Sort of difficult to convey it exactly with the translation from German to English. Now, the board's discontent with Diess seems to lie on a lack of strategy of how he wants to develop the group. The report from Handelsblatt continues. Unfortunately, Diess's emphasis on EVs has led to widespread support from other electric car companies, including Tesla, whose CEO Elon Musk has accumulated the respect of Diess in an evident friendship. It appears that Diess may not continue at Volkswagen if the supervisory board meeting has anything to do with it. And obviously there's been other meetings where he's received disciplinary action and they've discussed whether or not they're going to fire him. Now, Volkswagen recently reported electric vehicle totals in Q3 2021 that doubled the same period in 2020, led by the ID.4 all-electric crossover. And right now in China, their electric vehicles are going incredibly well. In spite of most analysts saying that they wouldn't succeed, they most certainly are. They're becoming a big player in electric cars in China within a very short period of time. Now, clearly getting rid of Diess would be a very, very serious, a monumental error for the Volkswagen Group. But that said, he will be an amazing hire for Tesla when he becomes their CEO in 2022. Or at least, that's what I think could happen. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the video. Look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye-bye.